My name is Matthew Simon, and I am recording this video on a business application of one of the 36 ancient Chinese stratagems. In this assignment, will be talking about the stratagem lure your enemy to the roof and then take away the ladder. This stratagem means to lure the enemy out with a bait to trap them in an unfavorable position. This trap place will be treacherous and full of dangers for the enemy. Now the enemy in this situation has to deal with an unfavorable position and your force after you lure them and seal them in. By cutting off your enemy's reinforcement, escape route, and communication while putting fear and unfavorable positioning to the enemy, they will be easily defeated. Fighting where the enemy is at its low point while you are at your highest creates the perfect opportunity to win with ease. This stratagem lures and seals your enemy's fate with the least bit of effort. For this assignment, I will be talking about a broad topic, Chinese international economic trade. Lured by the Chinese government and business executives into believing there will be a source of essentially unlimited and ultimately profitable labor, a considerable number of North American and European companies began to invest heavily in the Chinese market. Further realizing the profitability of this source of cheap labor, these same companies continued to invest heavily into the Chinese market and even began to outsource manufacturing activities to the Chinese markets. These favorable conditions to the foreign companies were used by the Chinese as bait to entice these companies to place China at the center of international economic trade. As a result of the heavy investment into the Chinese market by these foreign companies, China has achieved its goal as being the center of international economic trade. Now that China is a major center of trade, it is essentially maintaining its own monopoly, and as such can raise obstacles or enact policies playing on their real advantage. The fact that these foreign companies have reached the so-called and much low point of no return with their businesses and investments in the Chinese market. Although now the majority of world commerce and trade originates from China and the Chinese markets, it hasn't all been smooth sailing for the manufacturing sector. There have been many times over the course of the past few decades where the quality of Chinese-made products has come into question. More recently, the scandal in 2008 of the Chinese manufactured milk and baby formula comes to mind. This scandal involved the milk and infant formula being contaminated with a compound called melamine. This is a component used with formaldehyde to produce plastics. By the end of September 2008, about 53,000 people became ill, along with 4 infant deaths caused by kidney failures and kidney stones. It appeared that the chemical was added to the milk to give it the appearance of having a higher protein content. However, despite the business consumer bases in North America and Europe being appalled by the seemingly purposeful actions of the Chinese in this scandal, businesses were stuck with their only option, continuing to do business with the Chinese. This is quite simply due to the fact that these enterprises have invested so heavily into the Chinese markets that there is no other option but to continue to trade with the Chinese markets. The Chinese have successfully lured the North American markets into investing heavily into the market and as such have increased obstacles and imposed trade tariffs, successfully pulling out the so-called ladder from under these enterprises for fear of its loss of substantial sum of investment, money, and power.